Oregon Public Broadcasting. I found that when I was about 11. It's not something my parents would ever watch, but we only had four stations. And I found it by accident one day on a Sunday afternoon when my parents weren't around and they were playing Elizabeth R. with Glenda Jackson. It was a masterpiece theater, and I fell in love. I mean, it was so awesome. And one of the things I loved was history. So I watched the whole series of Elizabeth R., Elizabeth I's journey in life. I loved hearing Alistair Cook explain what was happening, and I got this real passion for Tudor history. So I read all the books I could on Tudor history and knew so much about Henry VIII and each of his six wives, a little bit about the War of the Roses and the Plantagenets and the Roses and the Lancasters, English history, and then Victorian history later. But that was my first introduction to OPB, and I'm still a strong fan of OPB. I love Oregon experience, history of my home state, things I never learned in school. One of my favorite things on Oregon Experience was a biography of Ken Kesey, who is my favorite author. One episode I'll share about books, and one of my favorite books is Ken Kesey's Sometimes a Great Notion. I've had at least five paperback copies that I've read and reread till they fall apart. Now I have a paperback copy and I have one on my Kindle because I just love that story. We'll talk about that later. I also love American Experience, where I get to see all kinds of American history that I also didn't learn in school and from textbooks, about the Kennedy era, the FDR era, the Teddy Roosevelt era, the Civil Rights Movement, Emmett Till. I mean, just amazing stories that no one ever taught me in school. I know them because of Oregon Public Broadcasting. And then, as you can tell, because I told you about Masterpiece Theater and Elizabeth R., I became, a long time ago, an Anglophile. I love all British television, and Oregon Public Broadcasting on Sundays and on Saturday nights is full of all kinds of public broadcasting of stuff from the BBC and from England. So right now I love Call the Midwife, um, All Creatures Great and Small, Grantchester, um, Inspector Morse, Inspector Lewis, Endeavor. Sean Evans was amazing in that. Inspector Linry Mysteries, Midsummer Mysteries, Agatha Christie's Miss Marple and Hercule Poirot, the Forsyte Saga, and I'm really excited. A new section of that is coming soon. And Poldark, and all the Jane Austen works, Pride and Prejudice, and my favorites, Persuasion and Mansfield Park and Emma. Um, Broadchurch, all kinds of English stuff that I love to watch. Um, just, I love it. And down the bottom of those pictures, you'll see some new things I've found over the last year or so. Patience, it's British um, crime show about a young woman that's on the autism spectrum, and how she helps a police detective solve crimes because she's like the Rain Man of forensic science. And Traces, it's based in Scotland, and it's another forensics drama. I love it. And Professor T, again, kind of quirky, and I love it because somehow British television seems to have a bit more intelligence to me than American television.